Hello everybody, Jennifer Maker here. It's a beautiful day to learn all about transfer tape for adhesive vinyl projects. Transfer tape is one of the most crucial and often frustrating aspects of working with adhesive vinyl. Transfer tape can be tricky to use and it can be confusing to know if you're even using the right kind because there's multiple kinds, right? But don't stress or let it discourage you from making awesome vinyl projects. In this video, I'll share all of my tips and tricks for using transfer tape, and soon you'll be a seasoned pro at making vinyl decals, even super cool layered ones like this. So follow me to the craft table and together we'll figure this out. So first, what is transfer tape? Essentially, it is a type of adhesive tape that's used for transferring or applying adhesive vinyl decals to a surface. Transfer tape consists of a thin, transparent or translucent film with an adhesive on one side and a liner on the other. Well, usually at least. The adhesive side of the transfer tape is used to hold the vinyl in place while the liner is peeled away, letting you easily transfer your adhesive vinyl to whatever surface you need it on, from wood to glass to ceramic. Now, if you're using iron-on vinyl, you do not need transfer tape. But if you have adhesive vinyl, also known as premium, permanent, or removable vinyl, you do need transfer tape. Adhesive vinyl is super sticky and it needs to be carefully transferred without getting stuck on something else or getting distorted. Transfer tape solves those problems for us. But if you're new to using transfer tape or don't even understand how to use it at all, honestly, I know that it can turn a fun and simple craft into anything but. So I get it. But once we're done, you will see how easy it is to use transfer tape, I promise. Now, I've done a lot of testing over the years to figure out which transfer tape works best with different types of adhesive vinyl. I'll show you why I use each transfer tape in different situations. I'll show you some great layering hacks, like when to grab a piece of parchment paper, how to control a transfer tape stickiness, when and how to layer vinyl with it, and how to know when to layer directly onto certain items, or if that's a disaster waiting to happen. See, I told you there's a lot to learn. And that's why you should never feel unsure or frustrated with transfer tape. Trust me, I was there too at one point, right on the struggle bus. But now I can make all the things with transfer tape. I have just a few vinyl projects here on the table to show you some of the awesome things that you can do with transfer tape. And yes, you can even use it on balloons. So to show you how to do all the things with transfer tape, we're going to make these fun retro decals from adhesive vinyl, right? So I've got one right here. You'll note that some are single color like this one, while some are layered like this one. Stay tuned and take notes so you know how to layer the different types. There are definitely rules to follow there, and I don't want you to miss them. Now we're going to use a few different kinds of transfer tape. We've got Cricut standard grip, which looks like this. It has gray grid lines and it just says transfer tape on it. It doesn't actually say standard grip. It just says transfer tape. And then we're also going to use the Cricut strong grip, which looks like this. It has purple grid lines and the label says strong grip on it. Okay. So don't go to the store and be confused and think, or be like me and be like, oh, I'm just going to get the strong stuff. That'll be better. That's totally what I did the first time. I don't want you to do that. I'm also going to show you how to use the linerless transfer tape, which is awesome because it creates less waste, and I just love that. Plus, the linerless transfer tape has a grid printed directly on it, making lining things up super easy. I just love little details like that. They make things so much easier. And stick around too, because I'll tell you about some transfer tape alternatives that you can try that you might even have laying around the house, like parchment paper, press and seal, and painter's tape. Now, to cut your vinyl, you'll need a cutting machine. I'll be using my Cricut Maker 3, but you can use any cutting machine, including the Cricut Joy, which I decorated using transfer tape and adhesive vinyl. You'll also need some machine mats. I've got green and blue, some scissors, a brayer, a scraper, and a weeding tool. And I'll apply my decals to these wood panels from my materials list. We'll add the hardware with the help of a pencil, a ruler, and a screwdriver. And that's it. Well, just one more thing, the vinyl decals. I have hundreds of free vinyl designs in my library, and while today I'm going to show you how to apply these fun designs using transfer tape, just know that the techniques work for any type of vinyl decal that I might have in my library or that you find anywhere else. All right, so let me show you how to get them. Step 1, get my free vinyl design files. Go to jennifermaker.com/491 and look for libraries in the red bar at the top. Then either click Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or enter the library. Search the page for design number 491, and when you find it, click it to download the zip file. The download folder includes a PDF to cut by hand and SVG or DXF files for use with a cutting machine. I'll show you how to cut the SVG files with a Cricut in this tutorial. Inside the SVG folder, you'll find files for the Stay Cool and Good Vibe decals in 1 color and 2 color versions. So I can show you how to use transfer tape. We'll start with the 1 color Stay Cool design first. So upload it to Cricut Design Space and add it to your canvas. If you're not sure how to do this, I have directions at jennifermaker.com/svgs that show you how to unzip and upload. Step 2, prepare your vinyl design files. To test our materials, we'll need to create some vinyl decals. Here's what the 1 color Stay Cool design looks like on my canvas. It's already sized perfectly for my wood blank at 3.52 inches, but if you're using a different surface, be sure to measure it now. And then click the design on your canvas, and then making sure the lock at the top is closed, change it to your desired size. And besides that, the design is ready to cut. I'll be cutting mine with yellow permanent vinyl, but you can use whatever color and type of vinyl you want. Now we'll make a 2-layered version of this design with registration marks. What are registration marks, you might ask? They're the first of those layering hacks I mentioned, and we'll use them to help us line up our layers. Upload the 2-color Stay Cool design and add it to your canvas. I'll cut the top layer from blue holographic vinyl and the bottom layer from yellow permanent vinyl. Right-click on the design and select Ungroup to separate the layers. Click Shapes and select one of the stars. Drag the star off to the side and resize it to about 1/4 of an inch. Then right-click the star and select Duplicate to make a copy. Select one star and change it to blue in the color box to match the top layer, and then change the other star to match the yellow layer. Select both stars and click Align and then Center. With them both selected, drag the stars together to one side of the design. In the Layers panel, hold Shift and select the first star and its matching layer, and then click Attach. Repeat with the second star. If your yellow layer is on top, you can click Arrange and send it to the back. Mine's on top already, so it's good to go. Now let's make the 2-color Good Vibes decal. Upload and add the SVG file to your canvas. I'll make the top layer in maize yellow permanent vinyl and the bottom layer in blue shimmer vinyl. And you might be thinking, Jennifer, you said that we can't layer on top of specialty vinyl. And that's absolutely true, but I have a workaround. With both layers selected, click Ungroup. And then click Combine and Exclude. The new excluded design takes on the color of the bottom layer. With it selected, right-click it and then select Duplicate. With the duplicate selected, change its color to yellow, and then drag the yellow words into place. The inside letters are now cut from the center of the shadow, and our shimmer vinyl appears like it's on the bottom. We got the effect we want, even though we couldn't layer permanent vinyl on top of shimmer. Cool, huh? Step 3, cut and weed the design. Use your cutting machine to cut out your vinyl design. If you need any help with cutting your decal on your Cricut, you can use my How to Cut Vinyl on a Cricut tutorial over at jennifermaker.com/407. Be sure to use the directions for adhesive vinyl. Step 4, how to layer and apply your vinyl design. Choosing the right transfer tape for your vinyl material is super important because it is not a one-type-fits-all. Standard grip transfer tape is great for permanent, removable, holographic, and metallic vinyl. However, it isn't quite sticky enough to successfully transfer most textured vinyl. And textured vinyl, like shimmer, glitter, and true brushed vinyl, works great with strong grip transfer tape. Just remember the strong grip transfer tape is too sticky for permanent, removable, holographic, and metallic vinyl, and it will damage it if you try to use it with the wrong material. So let's do our Stay Cool one-color design with the yellow vinyl. Cut a piece of standard grip transfer tape a little larger than the top layer of your permanent vinyl, and then remove the backing. If you have any problems getting the liner off the transfer tape, just use your weeding tool to grab the edge and peel it back. Remember, if you're using shimmer, glitter, or true brushed vinyl, you'll want to be using strong grip tape, not standard grip tape. The best way to apply transfer tape to vinyl is to use the taco method. So hold your transfer tape in the shape of a taco or a U shape with the sticky side down. And then carefully put the bottom of your taco onto the middle of the design. Use your fingers to smooth it from the center outward to minimize wrinkles and bubbles. Then use your scraper tool to really adhere it well to the transfer tape. And that's it. Your one-color decal is now ready to be transferred to a surface. All right, now let's do the Stay Cool two-color design in the blue and the yellow. If both vinyls use the same type of transfer tape, they can be combined right on the bottom layer's liner. So let's layer a two-color Stay Cool design with the yellow permanent vinyl as our bottom shadow layer. And this time, I'll show you how to use the linerless standard grip transfer tape. Just unroll a piece wider than your vinyl decal. As you'll see, it's really quite sticky. And then cut a piece the size you need right off the roll. Now cut it to fit your decal. And before you throw that extra transfer tape away, stop. You can totally save that. Stick it to an old piece of transfer tape liner or any other clean surface until you're ready to use it. Apply the transfer tape to the top layer using the taco method and use your scraper to burnish it to the vinyl. Flip the vinyl over and gently peel away the liner. Carefully line up the star from the top layer with the star from the bottom layer. Gently press the top layer onto the bottom layer. If you don't line up the stars perfectly the first try, just lift the top layer up and try again. Use your scraper tool to burnish the second layer onto the first layer. Leave the liner and transfer tape in place until you're ready to apply your layered vinyl design to a surface. You can leave the registration stars on the decal if you like, or you can peel them off before applying the decal to a surface. If we try to apply the shimmer vinyl second, or try to combine them on the liner, the strong grip transfer tape will peel back the permanent vinyl, and we don't want that. So instead, cut a piece of strong grip transfer tape for the shimmer vinyl, slightly larger than your design, and then peel off the back. We'll apply this layer first. Apply the transfer tape to your layers by holding the transfer tape in the shape of a taco or a U shape just like before, and then put the bottom of your taco onto the middle of your vinyl design. Use your scraper to smooth the tape over the decal from the center outward and burnish on both sides. For the yellow permanent vinyl, I'll use my linerless standard grip tape again. Apply it to the yellow vinyl in the same way that you did with the blue shimmer vinyl using the strong grip tape. Then use your scraper to smooth and burnish both sides. Now both parts of our decal are adhered to their own transfer tape and they're ready to be applied directly to your blank. I'll show you how to do this in the next step. If all you have is strong grip transfer tape, there's still something you can do here. Apply it to a soft surface like a paper towel a few times. You can even use your shirt or your pant leg. You want to make it less sticky so you're picking up lint and all that fun stuff, right? So when you stick it down to that, it's doing that. Basically, when you make it less sticky, it's going to act more like standard grip transfer tape. So if you're like me and accidentally bought strong grip at the store because you're like, ooh, strong is better, make your strong grip transfer tape less sticky by sticking it to a paper towel or something else so it picks up lint or dust or something like that. Now I'll show you how to apply your one color decal to a surface. Peel the liner off of the design. If the vinyl is not sticking to the transfer tape, try burnishing again and be more careful this time. And you can eyeball the design placement, or you can use parchment paper to perfectly position the vinyl design onto your blank. Let me show you my awesome parchment paper hack for vinyl and transfer tape. I'll apply my decal to this 5-inch wooden blank. First, I'll find the center with a ruler and then mark it with a pencil. Make sure the surface is clean and dry. The smoother the better. And then use a lint roller to remove any dust or debris from the wooden blank. Using the taco method, place the design on the parchment paper with a small area of transfer tape still hanging off the top. This is important for this method to work. Press the overhanging section of transfer tape onto the blank in the center. Now look carefully at how it's positioned on your blank. Is it centered? If not, pull it up and reposition it. That is the beauty of using the parchment paper. When everything looks perfectly positioned, hold the top of the transfer tape in place and use your other hand to gently remove the parchment paper. And now use your scraper to burnish the vinyl onto the blank in its perfect position. When you're all done burnishing, slowly remove the transfer tape at an angle. If the vinyl is not sticking to the blank, secure the transfer tape back down and burnish it again. And there we go. Doesn't that look cool? Now, remember when I said we need to apply one of our decals in 2 separate parts, layer by layer? When creating layered vinyl designs, if your components require different types of transfer tape, they will need to be combined directly on the blank, with the vinyl using the strong grip transfer tape always applied first. My blue shimmer vinyl uses strong grip transfer tape, and my yellow permanent vinyl uses standard grip transfer tape. So we've got 2 different kinds here. Peel the transfer tape and design off the liner of the shimmer layer, the one with the strong grip transfer tape. If the vinyl's not sticking to the transfer tape, try burnishing it again. Then do the same for the yellow permanent vinyl layer. When it comes to applying multiple layers of a vinyl design directly to a surface, the parchment paper method that I showed you earlier makes this super easy. So I'm going to show you how to do it. First, lint roll the surface of your blank to remove any dust or debris. Place your bottom blue shimmer layer on some parchment paper, sticky side down, using the taco method with a small area of transfer tape hanging off the top, just like we did before. Now decide where you'd like your design on the blank and press the exposed section of transfer tape onto the surface. Then take a look at it. Does it look right? Is it in the right spot? Is it centered? If yes, continue on. If not, peel it up, reposition it. So when it looks good, hold the transfer tape in place with one hand and use your other hand to gently remove the parchment paper. And still holding down the exposed transfer tape onto your blank, use your scraper tool to burnish the design onto your blank. Always work from the center outward. And then slowly remove the transfer tape at an angle. Now use the taco method to place the yellow layer of vinyl on the parchment paper, again with some extra transfer tape hanging off the top. Press the exposed section of transfer tape onto the bottom layer and the blank, and then looking through the parchment paper, you'll want to align the top layer within the open areas. If it doesn't seem to line up right, you just peel it up and you try it again. And if it looks good, hold down the transfer tape with one hand and use your other hand to gently peel off the parchment paper. And then use your scraper to burnish the design onto the blank. And again, slowly remove the transfer tape at an angle. You can throw it away or you can save it for another project. Step 5, show it off. Don't our vinyl decals look awesome? I absolutely love the fun combination of vinyls, and they're so worth the patience to get the alignment and application right. And by the way, if you ever find yourself without transfer tape or you need a less sticky alternative than strong grip tape or even standard grip tape, did you know that you can try press and seal or painter's tape to transfer permanent vinyl? Because you totally can. They work pretty well in a pinch. This painter's tape method is particularly useful when the surface that you want to stick your vinyl to is tricky and you don't want to hurt it with a really sticky transfer tape. I use the painter's tape method to make my charger plate signs from the Dollar Tree, if you remember that fun tutorial. So these signs look great freestanding, or you can wall mount them using the included hardware. To add hardware for hanging, flip your sign to the back and make sure the design is right side up. And using a small screwdriver and the screws that in the bag that came with these particular ones, right? Just screw the sawtooth hanger to the back of the frame. Just don't screw them too tight. Doesn't that look great? What a fun result with just a couple of materials. Transfer tape makes applying vinyl to surfaces so precise and easy. I love the ease of use of the lined kind, the grid, and the lack of waste on the linerless kind, and I even love playing with all the other methods that I mentioned earlier, like painter's tape and press and seal. There is a way to transfer everything. There are literally so many different things that you can do with adhesive vinyl and transfer tape, and it's all of its alternatives. It's kind of mind-boggling. I have a ton of different ideas on my blog at jennifermaker.com, so check it out and get inspired. And just to know about preparing your surfaces, if you're using glass or plastic surfaces for your vinyl decal, I recommend you use rubbing alcohol to clean and prepare those surfaces. This really helps your vinyl application and is worth the extra step, trust me. Now, if you have any questions about working with transfer tape, vinyl, or anything else craft related that I can help you with, please let me know. Just leave your question below this video or ask over in our Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/CricutCrafters. Come post and share all of your vinyl creations. I love seeing them. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.